I'm not a big fan of beauty right now. I don't necessarily think that it does much. Like, there are some good evil units that work well together, but you really don't need to be beauty for those units to be playable. I think Mahiri is pretty bad, and I think Pup is probably fine. I think it's either Pup or Skip in this spot. And I think Skip is okay, so I'm going to take it. This could be a mistake, but I am going to take Skip here. I have not done very well on Pup recently, and I have not practiced Pup enough to be comfortable with it. So that makes me a little bit less interested in playing it now, where I've played Skip quite a bit more recently, and I do think that with some average or above average runs on Skip, you can do pretty well. So starting with a Lucky is pretty big game. We'll have to think on these if we want them. The Creeper's a little weak, and the Mummy's also a little weak, and the spell is not super strong either. I think we're going to let it go by, but Lucky is a good start here, for sure. This definitely helps us catch up on economy. If it hits a 3 or it hits a 2, like, both of those are acceptable. Obviously, hitting a 3 is better. If we can buy 2 of them, that would be ideal. Something like Stag would be a good pickup. Brave Princess, I think, would still be fine here. Unfortunately, we don't kill anything, so we do take extra damage here. But that's okay, because we should be able to be relatively strong in this spot. So we're absolutely picking up the Shadow Assassin. We could Tree Spell. We could also just Mim and then support these two and then roll once. Which I actually think might be better than the Weaver. So here we have the option of White Lonely Prince. I think I'm going to let this go by. And we're going to hope that the Shadow Assassin plus the Lucky is able to carry us against Waddle here. Nice, so we killed the frog, so that's kind of huge. Looks like we're going to win this pretty easily because of our Shadow Assassin with the Mim. We were able to beat a frog in a spot where that's usually pretty difficult. We get extra gold going into the next turn. I don't think the Turkish Delight really makes a lot of sense for us here. It could be Minotaur plus Queen of Hearts. That represents a 2-4-6. So this is about as big as Humpty. They are pretty weak units, however. But it's probably better to fill up the board, even if they're a little weaker. So I think I'm fine with it. We're going to do it something like this. Still going to leave the Lucky here. We're still going to have the Shadow Assassin try to shoot first, and we're going to skip the Turkish Delight for now. Remember, we're basically trying to stay as healthy as possible for as long as we can. So this is a nightmare. So that hits here, so we tie. We'll take that. That's great. Stag attacking with 2 shooters, and we manage to tie is exactly what we need. Wow, on 3-1, double Feasting Dragon. It's going to be really hard for me not to want to take that. That's really strong. It is probably at its worst against Fates, however. Like, I don't know if 8 attack is enough to slay here, which is a concern. I think we're going to try it. Like, now is when it is at its absolute highest chance of success, and it depends on what the Fates has for their Fated unit. This may still be usable. I don't know. That's fine. I believe that we're strong enough here. I think that they have double Fanny probably as their either Fanny or Crafty, and the next turn they're going to be able to triple them. So this was the perfect time to do it. So now we have 2 dragons with extra stats scaling, which is exactly what we need here. Trying to decide if this makes sense or if I should pick up something like a monster book. I think I'm going to roll once. I will take the Shadow Assassin. I think roll. 6-5, 6-4. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm almost thinking that I should take it now, so it makes us quite a bit stronger, even though we're cutting the Minotaur. So otherwise we're cutting the Minotaur anyway, I think. Let's grab Sting and Lock, I think, for the pair. We may not take the pair, but it feels like it's pretty good right now. Let's hit this one. Okay, that's a good hit. This would have been better, but this is fine. I don't believe that we get another Slay. Yeah, it's too small yet. But we do win combat at 33 on going into 4-1, which is pretty solid. We could pick up a pretty large Nutcracker and actually give it Flourish right away. That's pretty good. It's an 8-21. I think I give up on the Queen of Hearts. Okay. I don't know if I should be using the EXP here to try and get to tier 6 a little bit more quickly. It is very possible that that's better. I think I'd rather just find some tier 5s. And whether that's just, like, even if it's just tripling the dragon, if it's finding Lancelot with the Sting, I think Lancelot gives us a 5. I'd like to get off this Queen of Hearts if we can, because it's pretty medium at this point, so I do think that there are a lot of upgrades that we can get pretty quickly. And we may be taking some damage against Midas. Midas can be pretty strong on these turns. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, we get a second Feasting Dragon hit. That's great. Okay, the Zelhua is pretty scary. They are pretty far up here now. The Aeon is quite large. Not really what we're looking for here, though. Outside of it just being largely statted. I am fine taking the Nian at a 16-16, certainly. We may want to just run this Poly. in slot 1. At 27, it has a decent chance of getting a sleigh here. Even a 17, potentially. I don't know how big Kleck is in this spot. Hasn't really taken much damage. So pretty stable and has gained some life. Doesn't look like he's ahead on EXP at all. I'd like to cast this Wormroot, I think, on the Shadow Assassin. So I think we're dumping the Black Cat for that. It's possible that this Queen of Hearts is just worse than the other Feasting Dragon. That's too bad. So we need to shoot the Shadow Assassin. Guess we take damage here, but we do get a tier 6 with some extra stats on it a little early. That is a good hit, certainly. This almost makes me want to Turkish Delight then. Which I think I will. How many hits is 39 versus 29? This is 4 hits, this is 3 hits. I'm considering this Burning Tree. Obviously it's much better in slot 1, but we can leave Hercules in slot 1. How big is this if we pick up the Burning Tree? 2, 4, 6 if this dies, 8. So the Feasting Dragon is almost as large as the Evil Queen even. I think Burning Tree as a 935 is pretty good here. 2, 4. And I do think that the Feasting Dragon is probably better than the Queen of Hearts, even if only a little bit. This probably doesn't need to be in anymore. So let's do this instead. Hopefully get this to proc would be nice as well. I'd like to get at least one more hit on this Hercules before it dies, but it doesn't look like it. This Medusa's probably going to kill it, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it's fine. Winning combat, again, is more important than the Hercules, but we will want to get it at some point. We could have taken the dragons out. They were pretty bad here. But we get another tier 4. Or we get a tier 4. We could take a Ring of Rage or Forking Rod. Forking Rod is quite strong. Fool's Gold is also pretty strong here. Or can be pretty strong. But it's not strong until next turn, basically. I think I'm going to fork, and then I'm going to roll away from the Stone Skin. I don't think that's what we need here. The 3 Big Pigs is okay, but I think we can do a little bit better. So this is a reasonably sized Medusa. There's a Jorm pretty early. Early enough, maybe, that the Jorm is okay, especially since we have the Shadow Assassin. Let's take the Jorm. I think we pass on that. I should have done that sooner. I misclicked it, and I don't know why I did that. Hopefully that doesn't cost us too much. We really need this Hercules to trigger this turn, basically. Which it looks like it's not going to. Oh, it is, because of the Lancelot. Okay. So we get a tier 6 at least. And we get to slay off the Feasting Dragon, so both of those are nice. So our tier 6 can give us either Arc, which we don't currently have a 2-4, but we could find. We could get Owl or Ninth Book. We don't really have support for Ninth Book. I think for now we're just going to take Owl. We've tripled 2, which is not a ton. Let's just go ahead and grab, like, Catter or Curse King. Let's go ahead and grab Catter. I'm going to take this triple. This gives us, like, Staff of the Old Toad, I think is probably what we want here. It's more tempo to grab the Drac Saber, but at 28, I think I'd rather find a better shop. If we can. So let's go ahead and pick up the Lance. Oh man, that's rough. How do we get this now? 1, 2, 3. What have I done? Oh my god, what did I just do there? Oh, that was a fucking mess. This needed to be in slot 1 for sure. And I wanted that Grimsoul, and then we were just going to move back into it. Well, we don't die, but we really deserved to. Jesus, that was a really bad play, by the way. I think we roll. I don't believe the dragon is what we want here. I will take a soul tack, however. Wondering if I should just hit Lance with +10 to trigger him. Not sure what 5 I would want. Mimic, I guess, is pretty good still. What's our alternative? We grab, like, Lady of the Lake. I think I'm going to roll once. This Echo Wood is pretty good. Especially with the Jorm. I don't know if we're big enough to slay, though. Consistently. What do I do? I think I fucked this game. I think I really do. I really think that I fucked us here. Wow. Like, we are just barely able to live here. Fuck me, right? Maybe I don't Knighthood. I was thinking about Knighthooding the Jorm, but we might not be big enough for that to work without a Grimsoul. I think I have to roll. Like, maybe a 2020 Sporko is just better than the Shadow Assassin. Also because it triggers Lancelot? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know if Mix-a-Whizzling the Herc makes sense either. I don't know what I'm doing here. Or how to improve this board. Grimsoul, I guess, is pretty good. To do it, we can just put the Herc over here or whatever. And then at least we're guaranteed 1 proc. And maybe we just try and lean into that a little bit more. I don't know if I did that right. or at all. I don't know if I should have done that. We're going to find out really quickly if I should have done that or not. It looks like not. I don't think it's Goose Helm. It's probably just Ambrosia over maybe the Forking Rod now. And I think we maybe have to be getting out of the Jorm and just going Good Boy. Maybe Friendly Spirit. Does this really do anything for us? It's okay. I might want that. I don't know yet. I only positioned like this because I knew that we were against Lightning Dragons. Normally I would put the Good Boy over here. I don't actually think that our board is that bad now. We do need some ranged, but the double Good Boy with the Ivory Owl is pretty solid. The Robin doesn't actually go on the Good Boy until we triple the Soul Tack. I think I'm going to roll past it. Cupid is probably pretty good here. So I'm sort of down for a Cupid and maybe down for a Lady of the Lake. Core Wizard's pretty nice as well. Don't really have enough attack on these. Is that maybe better than the Cupid? I don't believe that it was better than the Cupid. Maybe it was against this opponent. Though we don't actually need Soul Tack, so that's nice. So we can put this in then. Is there a 4 that I would want over this? I think Ring of Rage would be fine. It's basically it though. It's like literally nothing else that I would want there. I think I just skipped then. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip. 2, 3, 4. So that's enough hits that I think the smite is good here. I think this should be okay. I don't know if it kills them in one hit, however. They got even larger because of the evil eye. That's rough. Okay, we'll take our good boy triple here. Feather or Pandora's box. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and this is going to be... How big is the Echo Wood immediately? Echo Wood gets plus 24, 24, plus 2 more. I would have liked a combat spell here. I would have probably cast that if I had more time. Attack left. Okay, so Good Boy got to respawn because of that positioning, but now they're going to have an extra unit. I think a combat spell is what we want the most. This Slade, which makes it a little awkward. So now this is going to respawn instead of the Good Boy. Makes it a coin flip if we Merlin's Test. I don't like that. Really need to deal with this Medusa before it gets to attack again. Okay. So thinking about this game a little bit, there were a few spots where maybe having a little bit more HP mattered, but realistically, what mattered the most was having just more contact instances with the things that we already had. Because realistically, our opponents' units themselves were very extreme high attack but low health. So I was able to try and leverage that a little bit more to our advantage, I guess, with the Court Wizards. They didn't need to be that big to still kill a lot of our opponent's things in the one-on-one. There was a world where we could have tried to leverage the good boy being our second biggest unit a little bit more, by like shaving Lancelot at the end there, maybe putting the Lady of the Lake in just in the front. But I think it is also fine if we are resummoning Echowood as well. So that was what I was going for, is allowing ourselves to resummon the Echowood. I do think that the Medusa was a bit scary there. But yeah, I think that was okay. Okay, that's good. A good recovery from the first round being a 6th. So that puts us at 14 points. If we think about that as how many points we need per round, we are now sitting at the average, so we're a little bit lower than what I would like to be, but we have regained a bit of the ground that we lost from the previous, with the +2 points for first then. So that's good. At a total of 14 points, then we need to do still roughly third throughout the course. Will get us into a pretty good position. So we are back on track. So that's good. I am going to go ahead and take a breather. And then I will be back for the next round in just a little bit here. Looks like there's only maybe a handful of pods remaining, so it should be up pretty quickly.